Live from Garry O'Neill Studios in Baltimore.
You're listening to the See.Plan.Do show with Garry O'Neill.
All right, here you go. J.
What's up, everybody? What's up? Happy Pod Day! Yeah! Woo! What's up, everybody? What's up? Welcome to the See.Plan.Do show with me, professional mindset coach, business coach, your favorite coach, Mr. Garry O'Neill Jr. And as always, when you see me out here, grabbing your favorite summertime meal. When you see me out here with my favorite summertime meal, please don't forget the Junior. Shout out to Pops. And we have yet another Power Pack podcast episode here on the See.Plan.Do show, season 5, episode 14, entitled Memento Mori. And I'll talk about what that means in a little bit. And so the overview is that, guess what? Today, we're going to talk about Ozark, the series finale, right? We're going to talk about Kevin Samuels passing, and also entree of the evening, and our stunning realization that we're going to die, and how we can live a life worth living. Memento Mori. All right, so let me get to my shout outs. My day one A1 listeners, thank you. You don't know how much I appreciate you guys chiming in. Let me know how you felt about each and every episode. My first time listeners or watchers, I appreciate the universe bringing you to me, bringing this information to you. My people that are inside of the U.S., outside of the U.S., you're watching this, you're listening to this, no matter where you are in the world, you took a moment out of your life that is fleeting. And you're deciding to say, hey, you know what? I'm going to check out this episode. I'm going to listen to this guy. And I appreciate that. All right. So can we get to our See.Plan.Do moment of the week, sponsored by Heart Savers Maryland? So right after a brief word from our sponsors, we'll get right to it.
Are you looking to get certified in CPR, first aid, or other life-saving skills? Heart Savers Maryland is your premier CPR training facility. Individual and classroom sessions available. Schedule your training at heartsaversmd.com. Each second counts. Get trained today.
All right, your See.Plan.Do moment of the week is entitled Life Hacks. Guess what? I came across, I love life hacks. I don't know about you guys, but I love checking out different life hacks. And so here is, I got 4 that, just one of the last couple of days I checked out, and just let me know how you feel about them. Number 1, if you put something down, I laughed at this one. Say it out loud so that way you can remember it. So let's say that you put the remote on top of the steps or something like that, or you put it somewhere. You're like, I am putting the remote on the couch. I am putting my keys on the table. I am putting my $40 on the nightstand. So if you put something down, say it out loud. It'll help trigger a memory of it so that way you don't lose it, okay? All right, number 2, which I really, that should have been probably number 1. Number 2, pet your animal. Just for a moment when you get home, just randomly just pet your animal. You really got to think. We have so many things happening in our world. Work, children, career, goals, working out, all these different things that you're thinking. And you got to think that our pets, our animals, that we're their world. So just, when you get a chance, go ahead and just pet them, rub them, just spend a little time. All right. Number 3, are you having trouble making a decision? Well, first, why have you not been listening to the show? What's wrong with you? But guess what? If you're having trouble, they say to flip a coin. And so flip that coin. And while you're waiting to get the result, your mind will automatically start thinking or start filling out what it really wants. So if you flip a coin because you're like, hey, do I want to eat this or they eat that? You flip it. They're saying that in that time frame, you're already like, oh, I hope it's going to be this. That's pretty cool. So try that. And number 4, which you guys may have to go back and listen to this one again. Don't take criticism from someone you would not take advice from. Jeez, come on, Garry. Don't take criticism from someone you would not take advice from. Wow. All right. Well, those are your 4 life hacks that I have. Guess what? If you have a life hack, let me know. Put it in the comment section. Let me know so that way, we can share and communicate. I love life hacks. I love them. I just love just learning something like that. Even on TikTok, just learning that, hey, you can toss your dishwasher pod in the actual bottom of your dishwasher rack. Even not even realizing that your dishwasher, your top rack has like a different levels. If you don't believe me, go check it out. That if you need to lower it or raise it, it's there. I checked. I was like, oh snap, I didn't even know that. All right. So life hacks. I love them. All right, let's move on to our Greenlight Entertainment Song of the Week. Guys, at the bottom, if you're watching this on YouTube, you can check out the playlist. I post all of the different songs, whether it's the intro song, whether it's the song of the week, so that way you can follow along and catch these vibes, guys. All right, it's also going to be detailed. So right after a brief commercial word from one of my favorite sponsors, we're going to get right to it.
Having a wedding, birthday party, or other social or corporate event? Contact Greenlight Entertainment today. With our experienced DJs, quality sound, and professional service, we look to make your event the event. Check us out on the web at www.greenlightentertain.com. With Greenlight Entertainment, you have the green light.
And guys, you can always let me know of a song that you're feeling. I get those messages. If it's a song that you have, if you're listening to something, you're like, you know what, share it. Let me know. Share it with me. If it's fire like that, guess what? I'm going to post it on the show. If it's not, I'm just going to delete you. See, it works. All right. So just check it out. All right. But hopefully you guys like the different songs, the different varieties. I go from hip hop, R&B, rock, pop, reggae, just a whole bunch of different stuff, And so that's just what I might be feeling at the time. Okay. So can we get to our appetizer of the week? And it's actually a twofer for your appetizer. And your appetizer is sponsored by Rising Star Occasions and Designs. Guys, there are a lot of events happening right now while, we're back out here. We're back out here in these streets. So if you are looking to have your event, and when we're talking about events, your weddings, your birthday parties, your social events, or any type of event that you're having, and you need it decorated, take the load off. You don't have to go decorate it. Take the load off, right? And what you're going to do, you want it decorated to the max. You want to put your feet up and chill. Check out Rising Star Occasions and Designs. They'll take care of all of it. They'll come in and they'll make sure that they are taking care and being able to fulfill, not only meet your needs, not only meet your expectations, but they're looking to exceed them. All right. So you need a decorator for your event. Please call Rising Star Occasions and Designs. Call them at 443-529-2426. That number again is 443-529-2426. All right. You can also check them out online on all social media platforms, whether it's Rising Star Occasions and Designs or Rising Star Occasions on Instagram as well as Facebook. All right. And when you get there, tell them Big G sent you. And don't forget my invite to your party. All right. Let's get to our 2-piece appetizer. Ooh, look at that. All right. So let me get to the one that really irritated the heck out of me, man. Ozark. Now, before I say this, before I get into it, there does contain spoilers. So I know some of you guys, I try to be conscious that it's a lot of people like myself who've already watched it, and there are some people who have not watched it, right? So I try to be mindful about what I say, but also still taking care of people who already watched it, who want to talk about it. All right. So there is a slight amount of spoilers. So just if you don't want to hear this part, guess what? You can fast forward on to the next part. Okay. That's why I time coded for you guys. Okay. That's why I time coded. All right. So Ozark, I hated the goddamn ending. Yo, I hated it. The ending is not there as far as Game of Thrones ending, which I despised, but I hated it. I hated the ending. I hated that I feel that though it was incredibly rushed. I don't know what the writers were thinking, but I didn't get a payoff. Now, you know that if you're a fan of Ozark like I am, you know that, hey, man, we're locked in. We're watching it. It's slow. It does have its adventurous stuff in the middle, but for the most part, man, it's a slow simmer, right? You get a lot of drama in it. You start like, okay, good. But for the most part, when it starts getting filled with drama, you're there. But to not have that payoff, man, and then it end like that, you know, it just I just didn't like it. I just didn't like the ending. You know, if you're watching it and you've listened to it at this point, it's about to be spoilers. Ruth getting shot like that. All right, here's the thing. Ruth should have got shot. She just killed a cartel head of a cartel. She should have got shot. Navarro getting killed like that, I feel like that could have happened in season 5. They should have let it go one more season 5, right? Javi getting killed early, like that shouldn't have happened, right? Ruth and Darlene getting killed, that should have been a season 5. If we're going to end the series, those things could have happened then. But just walking up, bang, bang, he kills them. Like it felt like a lot of people were dying very quickly within like moments. And I'm like, oh, what is going on here? And I just felt as though the birds from the get-go just seemed to be incredibly untouchable, and it started irritating me because it was like, I love Jason Bateman in this. Like Jason Bateman killed it. I was like, man, I need to have that level of patience. But I just feel as though, they outside of Ben dying for real, like they didn't really suffer that big a loss. And okay, Buddy died, Ben died, but like something should have happened to one of the major players because too many things happened and they could have pointed at the birds. Like even the girl who snitched on Ruth, when they asked, hey, was anybody else around? Why didn't she say the birds were there? Right. But it just was extremely rushed, man. And I just don't like it. Like those different big, huge things, like people dying like that should have just been like season 5. I don't know why they had to end it on season 4, but I just didn't like it, man. I appreciated the series. I thought it was very original. I enjoyed it, but there wasn't a big payoff for me with at the end, man. Like everything just seemed to be just like in the air. I'm like, all right, well, if this leads into season 5, that works, but it looks like that's it. So I wasn't a fan of the season ending. So let me know how you guys felt about it. As always, it's just a constant conversation. All right. Now let's get to our second part. Kevin Samuels passed. So of course, thoughts and prayers to his family, anybody that was closely directed to him, anybody who felt extremely influenced by this man. But Kevin Samuels passed, 56 years old, very young. There has been, or if you've been watching on social media platforms, there's been a lot of polarizing thoughts about Kevin Samuels. Now, as a person who likes to make sure that I am fully vested or fully aware of what someone is saying, I will simply say to people who like them and people who didn't like them, you're partly right. I think that in the business of being a person that is offering consulting, talking to people, and you're out here in social media, you do have to do certain things. If that wasn't true, then we wouldn't have a lot of the reality shows where they're constantly fighting. We wouldn't have a lot of drama-filled reality shows. It wouldn't be a thing, right? But it's constant drama, constant gossip, constant messiness. And so I think that people that were for Kevin Samuels, I will say that I can understand their perspective. That here's a person who there were unrealistic expectations, both on men and women. See, that's the one thing I didn't like, is that some people just made it seem like he only talked about women, but he definitely got into a lot of men as far as getting on men. And it just seems to be like, I'm not a fan of people just regurgitating, you know, rehashed thoughts. Like, come up with your own thoughts. So so for people to appreciate him holding people accountable, and I will agree that his tact may not have been the best. Unfortunately, you know, that tact or that approach is what got him all those 1.4 million people. I don't have that same tact, and I'm good with where I am, but I also understand that if I was to start talking like that and I was to start to have controversial ideas, that it would be a lot more people watching or listening. And that's unfortunate, you know, but for the most part, um I think that if you liked them or you didn't like them, if you know your views, you're partly right. I think that for some people he was a person that was addressing or confronting sometimes the unrealistic expectations of people. That some people thought that, hey, I could just not focus on myself, not be better, not to make a certain amount of money. And with that being said, I think that I equally should have it all in a person. I don't have a lot of money. My living arrangement may not be the best, whatever. But I think that the expectation I hope for somebody else is far greater than I have for myself. And I did appreciate that at times, I thought it was entertaining. I thought that, he did address that. Now, that's so I get people who liked him. I also get people who did not like him. Again, I did not like his tact. I think that he was pretty abrasive. I think that some of the things he said was completely wrong. And I think that you don't have to tear down people in order to hold people accountable. So one of the last things he said was that, hey, if you're 35 and you have kids, pretty much like you're going to be disregarded, and I just think that's wrong. I think that there are a lot of beautiful people out here who are mid 30s, 40s, whatever, and they may have kids. And guess what? At the end of the day, how you feel, you are deserving of love, regardless of your status. So I think that that was wrong for him to say that. I think that there's some other things that were wrong, and you don't have to tear people down to hold them accountable. I think that people who watch the show, I think I will say that some people probably got little snippets and they're like, "Oh, I don't like him," and not really diving in, because I think that he did have some things that I have said myself. But I think that, yeah, if people were offended by him, you got that. I think that tearing people down is not a way to go about it. But unfortunately, in show business, we going with what works. And clearly, having, almost 2 million followers and getting to the height of his career, I mean, he's getting listeners every night. I think that, we see what works, and it worked for him the same way that reality shows, they know what they have to do. They have a blueprint. They have a blueprint on what they're going to do. They're going to put people in the same room that don't like each other. They're going to fight, drama, etc. So I can't say that somehow he was just this whole different person, when realistically we know that that's what sells. And maybe we need to take a time and look at ourselves and say, why is that so prevalent? Why is that so glamorized? Why are we so full and ready to look at stuff like that? And then it creates more people, because he's not the only person. It's a lot of people before him, actually, that really had some really disgusting views. And I'm sitting there like, why are people watching these people? So I think that if you liked him for what he talked about and what you felt as though he brought to the table, cool. If you did not like him, that's also cool. And I think that each component has a right to feel how they want to feel. Now, what I will say is, I think it is weird to celebrate a person's death. I think that it's okay to not it's okay to not mourn somebody. I mean, it's okay. You don't have to get into that. You don't know this person. They didn't know you. You didn't particularly like them. I'm not saying, it's okay for you not to actively want, to speak highly on them. But I do think it's weird that some people were really like celebrating it. And I think that that's it. If somebody I don't like, particularly somebody I don't like passes, I'm not going to be out here dancing in the streets. I'm just going to just say, well, I hope they find peace, but I also can, I don't think, I just, I just, I think that when we look at people like that, I think that when we get those extreme views, because guess what? He's not the only one. Okay. He's not the only one. Like, we have given people, some of these companies have given people $100 million to have very skewed views. So do I like that people tear people down? No, you won't get that on this show. So hopefully I can get to 2 million views without having to do stuff like that. I won't do stuff like that. I'll just end the season before I do that. But I think that both people are partly right. And I don't think that if you were offended by him, it doesn't mean that you didn't listen to him or that you don't care. And I think that if you did appreciate some of the perspective that he had, I don't think that you're wrong either. So, maybe this is just a time that for anything that we just take time to reflect on, hey, what did we like? Or, what kind of legacy are we going to leave? What kind of legacy we're going to leave behind to people. I will say that when it's my time to go, not if, because with season 5, episode 14, Memento Mori, that I hope that I'm celebrated more than I am. I hope that my life is celebrated and people can go back and reflect on some of the things that I've said or some of the things that I've done or how I've made people feel, as opposed to, people happy that I'm gone. Okay. And I hope that just applies to you. Sometimes we can take global things and say, how does this affect me? Kevin Samuels passing is sad. Anybody passing is sad, but it does not directly influence me personally, one way or the other. So, but I see people getting into severely heated debates about it, and it's understandable. A polarizing person making polarizing statements that may affect person or not. It sounded like his tactic worked. So I think it speaks more of us than anything else. All right, but rest in peace to him, and rest in peace to anybody who passed. But I do believe that whatever side of the coin you took, you're partly right. Okay. All right. So that was my appetizer, Ozark. Yo, I listen, man. I appreciate good writing, and I do not like how Ozark ended. And Kevin Samuels, you're partly right. All right. So there's your appetizer, sponsored again by Rising Star Cations and Designs. Hey, call them. Call them up. Take a load off. You don't have to go out there and go to the store and buy everything. 443-529-2426. Call Patricia up. Tell them Big G sent you. All right. So let's get to our entree. Season 5, episode 14 of the See.Plan.Do show. 5 seasons in. We're more than halfway done with this season. Memento Mori. All right. So let's talk about it. So Memento Mori, for those of you guys who don't know, is Latin for a simple phrase. Remember, you will die, or you must die. But remember, you will die. And I know you're probably like, if some of you guys are probably like, whoa, Garry, you're a life coach. Why are you speaking on that? And the reason why, and we'll get to that in a minute, but it is Latin for remember, you must die. It goes back, all the way back to Socrates in that era. And when we talk about remember, you must die, Memento Mori, it is just simply for this episode, just highlighting that while we are aware, I don't know if you remember, but we're on a big, huge time clock and that we're dying each moment. We're not getting that moment back. Okay. And just simply highlighting Memento Mori, just remembering that. How can we talk about you having a life worth living. All right. So here's a couple of thoughts that I had. As far as time or life, we have, and sometimes I've seen it. We have such a dispassionate approach to life. Oh, life is this, life is that. Oh, bah humbug. And that's crazy considering we apparently only get one. We only get one. I've seen people covet Pokemon cards with such a higher regard than some people value life. And we have such a lack of passion behind it. We disrespect time. That when we disrespect time, how do we disrespect it, Gary? We waste it. We waste the hell out of time. We kill it. We kill time. We disregard it. We put things that can happen now on the back burner when things should be happening now. So when we talk about Memento Mori, it isn't some type of dark fixation on death, because if you looked it up, you might see some people that are really involved in it. But Memento Mori, simply saying, hey, remember, you're going to die, isn't about being fixated on death. Now, guess what? I was going to have Memento Mori be the last episode of the season, but I said, well, that would sort of go against Memento Mori, and I should be doing this now, right? But remember that Memento Mori isn't about being so fixated on death, like, oh, it's dark and what's the point and stuff like that. That's definitely, that's not what we do here on the show. It just means that we should have an increased sense of passion, an increased sense of meaning for our life. Because remember, you will die. That death is 100 and 0, is undefeated. I will die. You will die. Everyone you know will eventually die. So with that being said, we can be free and understanding that, hey, there is an end game. We don't know how it's going to happen, but there is an end game. We know what happens in the end. And so how can we start living a life worth living now? And guess what, guys? Sometimes I used to have 5 things. I would have 10 things. I only have 2. I honestly only have 2 as I sat and thought about this show. 2 critical things. 3. Sorry, I'm going to add another one. I got 3. 3 critical things. 3. I was going to just do 2, but I have 3 because I like the third thought that I had. And I was contemplating back and forth. But 3 critical things that I want to highlight to you on how we can live a life worth living. Because remember, you're going to die. The first thing is, ask yourself, what is important to me? Too often, guys, we get caught up in the mundane stuff. We get caught up in the bullshit. We get caught up in the irrelevant things that can distract us from our lives. We get distracted on who said this and what opinions I believe or I don't agree with. We care about people, and it's not to say we can't care about people, but we get so fixated on opinions that don't mean a damn. And we get fixated on people who will never bear any influence on your life. We get caught up in things that don't add any value to your life. So what I want you to do is ask yourself, take a piece of paper out, take your phone out, and jot down the critical things that are important to you. What is important to me? When I thought about this question, I said, what is important to me? My kids. My kids are extremely important to me. My community, my family. Those are extremely important to me. So when you jot down what's important to you, then guess what, guys? Just start living in that purpose, living in your purpose. See, we get caught up, man. Your favorite life coach is not exempt from that. Do you know how many books I should have written by now that I am starting now? Because those things are important to me. Being able to connect with you, being able to get out what I think is important to me. So while I will always still binge watch movies and enjoy experiences, that is important to me. So I should be living in that. I should be moving and adjusting and making my life defined by those things that I find important. So number one is just asking yourself, taking a moment and asking yourself, yo, what is important to me? And am I doing am I providing maximum effort to those things that I find important to me? And I offer that you should too. So that's number one. What is important to me? Number two, ask yourself, look in the mirror. If you're walking around and you might have me on speakers on 10 right now. Hey, right? You might be walking around. You might got me in your headphones. All right. Hopefully I'm coming in clear. My mic sounds nice. I want you to ask yourself, if you can get to a mirror, look at yourself in the mirror and ask yourself, am I living right now? Now, if you say, yes, my heart is pumping blood, I am breathing, my brain has activity, and I can think coherent thoughts, sure, yes, but we know we're not talking about the literal mean of you living. A lot of people, guys, are scared of dying. But I want you to ask yourself, is the life that I'm living right now any different than being dead? Is the life that I'm living right now any different than being dead? So I ask you, is your life, are you living life right now? Yo, go on that vacation. Go on multiple vacations. Make that scary ass decision. Remember that decision that you like, I'm afraid of? Go make it. Venture out and pursue your goals and your dreams and your passions, yo. Go get them. Be merry, live. Have fun, laugh hard as hell. Enjoy life. Are you living right now? Go ahead. You can check your pulse. Yeah, I'm alive. But am I living right now? Don't let your fear keep you down. Remember, when you ask yourself, is the life that I'm living right now, is it any different than being dead? Go do what you want to do. Go live that life that you want to live. Go live within your passions. That's how we know we're alive. You ever go bungee jumping, or you ever get on a roller coaster, or you ever do something that's very thrilling? You know what happens? You feel alive, baby. So go do that. Go live your life. Don't think that, oh, life is hard and difficult. That is not true. Are there instances in our life that may be difficult? Absolutely. Have we also sometimes created things that make our life difficult? Yes. Are there things outside of our control that make life at times hard and difficult? Absolutely. But totality of life, being hard and difficult, I cannot adopt that mentality. I can't. Not when I've smiled and cried, laughing, and enjoyed my life. I enjoy my life. And even with this episode, I understand, hey, with Memento Mori, I got to do more because I got to live those things. I got to live. And number three. So remember, as we recap, number one, what is important to me? Ask yourself that. Number two, ask yourself, am I living right now? You mean you can't tell me that there are dreams and goals that are on the table for you, and you mean to tell me, knowing that right now you're going to die, that we just going to leave them on the table? Hell no. Hell no. That you mean to tell me that you want to go travel, that you want to go to Hawaii, you want to go to Paris, you want to go to a concert. You mean to tell me that you want to own a nice vehicle? You mean to tell me that you want to live in a nice house, that you want to date more, that you want to look a certain way, you want to lose weight, you want to work out, and you mean to tell me, knowing right now that in your life that you're going to fucking die one day, that we don't have the giddy up, that we don't have the fortitude to say, yo, let me go get this. If right now your doctor told you, hey, I'm sorry to tell you, you only have a couple of months to live, what would you do if your doctor told you that? And our doctors told us that since the day you came out the womb. We have an expiration date. Memento Mori. Remember, you're going to die. Number 3. What would you regret on your deathbed? That right now, I want you to, and Les Brown said this masterfully, that right now I want you to imagine that you are on your deathbed. And I want you to think about you laying on your deathbed and you're surrounded by the ghosts of your unfulfilled dreams. That they are telling you, yo, we could have did this. Why didn't you do it? What would you regret right now that if you knew tomorrow was that was the end of the day for you, that this was lights out, that you are fading to black, that right now you knew within 48 hours you will not be here anymore? What would you most regret? Maybe not reconnecting with a family member? Maybe not changing your perspective about things? I don't know what that is for you. I don't know what that is. But I will simply offer that asking yourself what is important to me, checking in with yourself, and evaluating, are you living right now or are you just alive? And then just future, having a future forward thinking and just saying, yo, if I was to if I was to be told that in 3 months I'm passing, what would I regret most right now? Go do it. Go do it. Because Memento Mori is real. I'm actually going to get the coin. If you look it up online, if you look at the artwork for this episode, just a skull, but typically you see a skull and it has like a rose and a time and a little hourglass, because we're dying every moment. Each moment, that little second. While I'm doing this episode, I can look in the corner and I can see that this is the 38-minute mark and 37 seconds, 38, 39, that these precious ticks, these precious grains of energy and sand are gone. And I cannot rewind the clock back. So right now, think about yourself and say, if something was to happen to me and I was on my deathbed, what right now in this moment would I deeply regret? And if there is something there, then I charge you and challenge you to simply go do something about it. Because remember, you're going to die. So by you remembering that you're going to die, you equally can remember that you must live. That is the end of the show. You can catch each and every episode here on the See.Plan.Do show. I drop them weekly. All right. Go back, binge watch all 5 seasons, get caught up. If you want to be a part of the show, if you want to be a vendor, you want to share your stories, your experiences, your goods, your services, your talents, your perspective. I'm always available for new guests. Come on the show. Shoot me a line. And as the guys always remember, as always, as I've said, at minimum 5 seasons, I've said this since I've started my podcasting journey. You are the most important person. You're the most important part of the show. You are. So until we see each other again, because we'll see each other again. Until we talk again, because we're going to talk. And until we share those special, special moments again. Because now we have to. Always remember, guys, to see what you want to do. So go ahead and plan that thing out. And then simply do it. Because remember, Memento Mori. All right? Same life coaching time. I'll catch you on the same life coaching time. Same life coaching channel. Till next time, guys.